3 years ago, the repost says 2, but it's actually 3, I made a video showing a method for covering tattoos, and specifically geared towards face tattoos, right? And I want to show that again with a better quality phone, better quality lighting, and hopefully better angles, kinda. So, I have this uncovered, and I'm going to show you step by step how to get from this to this. Here we go. You're going to need a liquid lipstick. I prefer to use matte Super Stay inks because they really stay. You're just going to want something that dries down very well, that's not going to move, nothing greasy, nothing too plushy and soft. Anything that says soft, don't go for it. Something pinky orangey. If you have darker skin, you might want to go for something with more of a burgundy tone. But don't quote me on that. Just something kind of pinky orangey tone. See? This is a very warm tone pink. It's kind of fleshy almost. It's almost like one of the flesh shades, kind of. Not my flesh, but a flesh shade. Whatever you need to apply, I don't suggest a primer. I always prime with just cocoa butter lotion. That's just me. You're going to put it directly onto your tattoo. Keep in mind, you don't want to follow the exact outline of your tattoo. You're going to want to kind of feather it out, blend it out around the edges. Partially because, you know, it's a kind of a stark coloring. And even just for the color itself, you don't want it to be so like, ooh, that's the edge of it. But just as far as making the color look natural and covering the tattoo the best goes, our eyes are more attracted to straight lines when it comes to illusions and covering things. That's why a lot of the times, professional people who apply wallpapers, you'll see they'll cut in like curvy lines instead of straight lines. That's really why. And we're going to be following that kind of vibe, that kind of method, by not using perfectly straight lines. Okay, you might want a second layer if you feel this hasn't been covered enough. This is going to be doing a lot of the heavy lifting, but keep in mind, this is not our only line of defense, far from it. So, it's okay if it's not perfectly covered. Chances are you will still see some vague darkness. I mean, you can see. Right. So, now we have to let that dry. And it will take a while. Like, a while. And when I say dry, it has to be, like, pretty much dry. And obviously, in a large area, kind of spread out like that, kind of thick, it can take a while. So, just figure something out. Chill out for a bit. This is not something to do last minute. It's currently 5:27, so I'll try to see a vague time estimate of how long this is going to take me to dry. In the summers, and in any situation where you got a lot of air going, it might be better. It's January in here, and my heater's not on, so hopefully it'll be shorter if you're under better air conditions. Alright, it's 5:47. We're pretty much good. I probably could have gone a few minutes earlier on, but... So next, we're going to use a foundation that dries down well. This is Photo Focus by Wet n Wild. I use the shade Porcelain. And what we're going to do is take a sponge. Where's my sponge? Oh my god. Okay. It's cold. That might be a problem. Let's put it in the thighs. Fuck it. Okay, whatever. Now, we're going to apply the foundation directly to the sponge. You don't want it too wet, by the way, but not necessarily dry either. Just not like as plump as you may normally have it. Either way, using our hard drying foundation. I call this like a dry down kind of foundation because it's one of the ones where if you touch it wrong, it's gonna like come off and be ruined. So yeah, just be really careful touching your face, but in this instance, that's kind of what we want. So, gonna apply a nice thin layer. The sponge is kind of absorbing it. Nice thin layer directly to the sponge. And now, using a very, very, very light touch, we're going to tap. Everything we do, we tap. We don't swipe for this particular goal for the coverage of this. Ooh, I should have done something to my pores first. If you have very open pores, you might want to do whatever you do to fix that first. I usually use a wet to dry compact, but I don't know how that would go with this goal in mind, to be honest. I don't know if that'd be a good idea. Blend it. I'm gonna end up covering my eyebrow, so I'm just gonna redo my eyebrow. Layering. And now, here's where shit gets weird. We're gonna put powder down. A very light layer, but we are gonna put powder down. Ooh, I forgot to mention, you should probably also put powder down. Like a teeny tiny, not like much, but like a tiny layer before you do this. Whoopsie. Okay, well, it's helpful, but it's not essential. I normally use a brush. That's how I've always done it. I use a pad now, in general, to apply my powder. A pad. These. But, I don't know. I don't know how well that would go with this. So either way, it's very pink still. So now, we're going in with more foundation. This time, you're probably going to want to use a different one. Use one that's a bit safer, if you will. Usually when I do this, I use Glamifage full coverage, but you're just going to want something full coverage. I'm using the doe foot to apply. I probably shouldn't. I'm really going balls to the walls with this, huh? Taking your time and being gentle is like the biggest thing here, and I don't have it in me tonight to do that. I don't know. I need to start drawing again so I can work on gentlifying. That didn't sound right. Gentling. Oh, my hands. My little handsies. Okay. Alright, so we have that applied. I have to just very finishing touches. Be very delicate with this. Oh, it kind of did it. See, because we're working with so many layers here, and honestly, this foundation alone does it terribly. I prefer it just because of the way it dries, but like, if you touch it wrong, especially with your sponge, especially with your fingers, you're gonna end up lifting the product, and then it'll be more visible. This is not a great color match, it turns out, compared to the rest of the face, but we're not done yet, so I'm not worried about it. Otherwise, I would go back and redo it, but I don't need to, because we ain't done. It'll be fine, mostly. It'll be mostly fine. I gotta blend down into my eyes better anyway. Ooh. Yes. Okay. So now, I waited for the rest of my face to do this because I wanted to be able to kind of talk more about the technique. But final layer, we're doing concealer. And you're gonna want to cover up anywhere where that, line work or too much of the coloring of your liquid lipstick is peeking out. When this is done correctly, believe it or not, in real life it is very, very effective, and you will not be able to see that shit. It's gonna look on the cakey side. Depending on what products you use, it might just look kind of cakey. It also heavily depends on the texture of your skin going into this, just as much as the products you use exactly, themselves. Because I know when my face isn't properly exfoliated, things look a lot more cakey than they otherwise would. Because I have very open, wide pores, but I have found over the years a great way to handle that. So, if I'm using products besides my typical grade way, I can look very cakey. Oh my god, I forgot there's a tattoo there. I should have been more careful. Fuck, see, that's how good this is. Oh god. No, you can't see. Okay. I just remembered as I was going. That happens to me every time I do this, by the way. I forget how high up my hearts are, and I just completely wreck them. So at least that time I didn't wreck it. Fucking call me Ralph up here. Alright, here we go. So now, add a little bit more of that. Over top. Fuck, I forgot there's a tattoo there. Oh my god, this happens every time. Okay. Jesus. Alright, we're fine. We're fine. It's all good. Okay. There we go. A little extra. You can see just on areas where I'm kind of having a concern. Very delicate, light touches. And remember, make sure you're powdered well and handled well before you go fucking with things, because you could ruin it. And it's not difficult to fix. Like, see this area? That's a good example of, like, you have to be careful of how you're applying it, because you can end up picking up product and it kind of takes off all the layers down to your skin, because this is such a grippy foundation we're using in the first place. I have found it works the best because of that. You just have to use that to your advantage and be very careful not to touch your face after it's done. Ah, did it again. Oh, here's how we fix it when that happens. Boop. And we just go over the process, the same steps, just for that area. And then it'll be handled. In the interest of saving time, I'm going to apply it with a brush. Okay. So, I am going to go over very thin layer. I'm going to go over with the translucent powder one more time. I'm using the Airspun translucent powder, if you can't tell. It took me a long time to get into it, but it's pretty good. I used to only use the Maybelline ones that are translucent, the loose powders, but this is good. I like it. I'm like one step or two behind in just this area. Okay, fixed it. Now we do one more thin little layer of translucent powder. So I'm using my puff. I use the Airspun powder, if you couldn't tell. I like it. For a long time, you know, I wasn't even willing to try it. I used just the Maybelline loose powder, but it's good. It's classic. A lot of people like it. It's been around quite a long time. Does it say 1935. Low-key, I was about to say Goodyear, like, just like people do for wine. Just because I was like, oh, it's funny, because it's not wine, it's makeup. And then right as I was about to say it, I was like, ooh, don't say that. Alright, next. Now, we're going to lightly apply our non-translucent powder, which will kind of handle just one more layer, just one little last touch-up of coverage, using a more opaque colored powder. Try not to do too many layers, because it can get to a point where you'll start ripping up the old layers, like I said, by touching it too much. I think that's about good. God, my lips look so freaking blue in this lighting. My circulation and iron levels are not Gucci. Alright, I went a little heavy on the brows. Kind of fucked them up, but that's okay. Kind of just doing what I do when the hair dye is growing out. I'm kind of just going over it because there is a lot of foundation in my hair. But that's okay. Looks a little gray though, huh? Okay, all done. So it is a bit thick. Oh, you can see where I messed it up there. But a lot of lighting sources. I have the overhead light on. I have a lamp over here. I have my vanity light on. So this is where we're at. It's, again, yeah, it's a little bit thick, but it's about as natural as a full face of foundation is gonna get. And, you know, I mean, hey, would you rather look like you're wearing a little too much foundation or have all of your tattoos on full display if you're not in a position where that's okay?